Hello and welcome to Viewpoint. My name is Volodymyr Zvolodov, and right now I'm joined by the chairman of the board of Transparency International Ukraine, Mr. Andriy Marusov. Mr. Marusov, welcome to Viewpoint.
Hello.
Mr. Marusov, just several days ago, Transparency International Ukraine issued a statement where you said, and I would like to quote, having obvious consent with country's top leadership, Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin has been trying to make the newly created specialized anti-corruption prosecutor's office maximum dependent on the state. And without going into the details and technicalities of how he is planning to exercise control over this newly established office, can you tell us what does your statement say to the world? What does it say to Ukraine's foreign partners that Ukraine won't fight corruption because the President Poroshenko is personally sabotaging it?
Well, I would say that at this point, what we would like to emphasize is that there is a serious problem, and it is an obvious problem, with the General Prosecutor Viktor Shokin, it is for sure. And it's not only about us saying this. The US ambassador already raised concerns about this anti-corruption, specialized anti-corruption prosecutor's office. Then EU representatives did the same. Then a number of other international and foreign partners of Ukraine also emphasized that it is clear that the current general prosecutor is unwilling to make this specialized prosecutor's office independent. And then certainly there is a logic in saying that it's not only about Shokin, it is also perhaps about Poroshenko himself. Because for us in Ukraine, it's not a surprise that any president of Ukraine, starting from Kuchma, is trying to put General Prosecutor's office under his or her direct control.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Mr. Shokin. You said, and obviously that he was under a lot of criticism. Well, the internal criticism is huge. There is already criticism from abroad, from Ukraine's partners. So why President Poroshenko is so unwilling to ask the parliament to fire him? Why is he clinging to Shokin?
No, it is true that I would say that even from psychological point of view, he's afraid that this General Prosecutor office would be independent. I mean, de facto, and the jure it is independent, but de facto, as I already said, any president is trying to make it dependent. And for him, it's just, okay, I would even say like unimaginable. How come the General Prosecutor's office would be independent and would not be kind of ready to do whatever the president would say?
So is there something wrong with the psychology of Ukrainian presidents? That the prosecutor's office cannot be independent?
No, actually, I can explain it from like a political science point of view or sociological. You know that that's a kind of post-Soviet tradition, and certainly I do think that Poroshenko does understand that it is a bad tradition, and this tradition leads to nowhere. And when he is saying about, okay, that we should make a judiciary really independent, the court system, here we run into the same problem. You know, it's a post-Soviet tradition that, okay, how come judiciary independent and they would not do upon, I don't know, like a presidential phone call or prime minister phone call or somebody else.
Hello, what's happening here?
Yeah. Take decision this way, not that way.
So, Mr. Marusov, can we talk a little bit about this specialized anti-corruption prosecutor's office? Why is it so important in the fight with corruption that your organization decided to issue such a harsh statement?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. It is so important. What we've got now, we've got this National Anti-Corruption Bureau, which we also lobbied for the establishment of the entirely new institution. And it will be the kind of investigating elite corruption. Certainly, there should be prosecutors who would oversee their work first, and then certainly defend interests of the state in the court. on this corruption, whatever, lawsuits or corruption investigations. That's why, so investigators on their own, they cannot do investigations. I mean, as in any civilized country of the world, you know. Then certainly if that specialized prosecutors, if they will be under direct or indirect control of somebody from General Prosecutor's Office or, I don't know, presidential administration or the government, then even if the bureau itself will be independent, its work, real work, will not be independent.
So basically your concern is that there is this investigative bureau, and if they do their job well, but we have the corrupt or controlled prosecutors.
Yeah, it means that those specialist prosecutors, so they will be able to just to stop investigations, to make leakages, you know, leaks of information, okay, guys, or to some corruptioners in the government. Okay, guys, those detectives in bureau are going after you, so just hide.
Time to flee the country.
Yeah. Do something, just, you know, to save yourself, you know, or just, you know, to ruin the case or something like that, you know.
Mr. Marusov, can you explain to us why did Transparency International decide to issue this statement about the fact that the top officials of the Ukrainian government, of the Ukrainian state, are not willing to fight with corruption at this particular point? Because Ukraine has gone through almost 1.5 years since the Auto-Maidan revolution, which happened because of the corruption, which managed to oust the highly corrupt President Yanukovych. And all the politicians were talking after the Auto-Maidan revolution that we're going to fight with corruption, this will be our top priority, yet nothing, and I mean literally nothing, has been done. Okay, apart from the only successful reform is the introduction of new police. Apart from that, nothing has been done in Ukraine. So why at this point?
Because we feel that actually this situation is going into the kind of like a stalemate, you know, deadlock, and it reached the critical point. I mean, the struggle over the independent anti-corruption prosecutor's office, meaning a really independent anti-corruption bureau. And so that's why we were persuaded, okay, something should be done, and there should be clear signal to foreign partners, but first of all to the general prosecutor, to the president, to the government, to the members of parliament, that, okay, guys, you should not go this way. You should really, you know, like secure really independent selection of those anti-corruption prosecutors, and just drop this post-Soviet bad tradition that, you know, judiciary, prosecutors, that all those law enforcement bodies should be kind of under the control of the executive.
Mr. Marusov, did you receive any formal or informal feedback from the West, from foreign governments, from international organizations? Because in Ukraine, the statement of Transparency International was immediately picked up by the press. It is highly being discussed. That's why you're in our studio right now, where we're discussing this with you. But what about the foreign community?
Certainly, we are in a kind of like constant contact with our foreign partners, you know, with the representative offices of different countries and international organizations and projects, you know. And certainly the statement, we like informally discussed, okay, what can be done from our side, from the side of our partners in the non-governmental sector, in order to push forward, you know, really to change the situation.
Okay, but following the release of your statement, what's feedback?
Informally, there was a positive reaction. That actually, it's been the right time, and actually the message was clear, was up to date, you know, and was actually urgent.
But are you hearing any messages, for example, that any head of any foreign state will raise this issue with President Poroshenko? Because obviously the internal pressure from Ukraine isn't working. The pressure from the international organizations as yourself doesn't seem to be working that much. Even the pressure from the U.S. ambassador to fire the general prosecutor this message wasn't well received. Do you think there'll be some discussions at the highest level?
Yeah, I know from like informal sources. I'm like a former journalist, investigative
Yeah,
journalist.
that's why I'm asking on an informal basis. Are you having any intelligence?
Yeah, so informally, say like the West, say it this way, they do continue like exercising pressure on the top leaders. And actually, what was actually surprising is that starting from the first months after Euromaidan, foreign leaders, I mean, from US, from EU, they were not diplomatic. You know, what I was surprised is that when usually you are listening to diplomats, it's always kind of, we are anxious, there are some serious concerns, you know, all these...
There are also deep concerns.
Yeah, or deep concerns, you know, which is kind of for any average, you know, city in any country, is kind of, what are they talking about? Can they talk, you know, like a plain English, whatever, Russian, Ukrainian language? And what they did for the first time, at least in my memory of like 20 years, very plain, very clear, open, that, okay, guys, if there will be no fight against corruption in Ukraine, then we will drop our support in any way, like financial or whatever, you know, like material or by human resources.
Well, we'll see whether there will be any formal response or any formal feedback from the highest level following your report, Mr. Marunov. Many thanks for finding the time to come and talk to us. This has been Volodymyr Masulov of Viewpoint, together with the chairman of the board of Transparency International Ukraine, Mr. Andriy Marusov. Thank you for watching us.